Which is better, Logitech or Thrustmaster? We're going to find out today in a massive head-to-head, because these are the two biggest, I would say, console sim racing ecosystems in Logitech and Thrustmaster, and these are their rim ecosystems in that. So this is when it comes to actually holding onto your wheel, how that's going to work, the touch points, how it's going to feel, how premium your experience is going to be dictated by really whoever wins this head-to-head. So these are the hub and rim systems from both Logitech and Thrustmaster. You cannot get any wheels in Logitech that are not hub and rim for their RS and Pro system, apart from the bundled Pro rim, which is basically very similar to actually the hub and rim RS version. But this is basically what Logitech have gone all in on. Thrustmaster, you can get other wheels like the GT wheel, like the SF1000 or 8 GT3, but I think this is where they also see their future. They spent a lot of time, I believe, on getting this Evo system ready. So let's get into it. Let's do a completely honest comparison. Let's get into all those subtle details as well. So maybe if you're thinking about either getting Logitech or Thrustmaster, or potentially just want to understand where you are compared to the other ecosystem, I'm going to let you know. Before we start, I do have a permanent discount code for Logitech, which is code Kireth. It gets you 10% off on this, which is quite a big amount. For Thrustmaster, I also have an affiliate code, which is Kireth. Sometimes that gives a discount, but not always. So if you put it in, it doesn't give a discount. There's no discount at the moment. I would like to see Thrustmaster just match the discount code I have for Logitech. Kind of makes sense to me. But in any event, if you do want to help me out, if you do buy using those affiliate codes and links in the description, I do get a small commission. So big thanks. It does massively help me out. I want to get straight to the elephant in the room. Okay, I put this in a basket on the US site for the hub and the rim on Logitech side. It came to $177. Let's call it $180. $180 for this. Pretty crazy, because this, on the Thrustmaster side, the Evo hub is $199 and the rim is $99. So you're looking at $299. So it's not even close. By the way, Thrustmaster may do some bundling as well. If so, I'll put it in the description. But I can't see the bundling being a huge amount more. So this is over $100 cheaper than the Thrustmaster. So we have to acknowledge that and address that, because it's not like they're in the same price bracket for me. $299, this starts to get uncomfortably close to Thrustmaster's own GT wheel, to stuff in the Fanatec ecosystem as well. So, you know, it starts to get more out of that entry level into mid-range. This is firmly priced to entry for me. So just thought I'd mention that. By the way, this one here actually is a little bit more because it's the Xbox version. But if you get the version that's PC and you run it on your PlayStation base, it has the same functionality as this on PlayStation. But I'll put all the details in the description, hopefully. Right, let's get on to actual differences. The first thing I want to say is that I've been thinking about this. I think I slightly prefer the shifters on the Thrustmaster version. They're both magnetic shifters. This is Thrustmaster. I like the way it's indented. I like the fact that depending on the rim, you get long and short. The adjustability is pretty much the same, but I like that. It's got double magnets as well. The Logitech RS Track, they're good magnetic shifters, don't get me wrong, but I think I slightly prefer the Thrustmaster. Even the material here, the fact it's kind of like, it doesn't feel that ergonomically designed for racing for me, but they're still good shifters. It's got a single magnet in there. They're also adjustable, but I wanted to get to that straight off the bat. Another thing I like about the Thrustmaster, this is going to be a really interesting head-to-head, by the way, is I prefer the actual rev gauge. I prefer the rev gauge on the top with these old school LEDs compared to the RS Hub has this blended one. I don't really like these blended ones. That might be personal preference a little bit, but also I think it's performance. I like having the really clear lights. And when I'm using my XR glasses, I can see these through the XR glasses. So it's like a head-up display effect for me in real life. So that's quite nice. In terms of the material, the finish, I think they're both pretty similar on the front. Like you can probably see on the camera here, they're like this brushed aluminium. So pretty similar on the front. I'm not going to give anyone a winner for that. On the quality of the actual grips, I prefer the Thrustmaster. And it's the same, by the way, on the Thrustmaster. You know, this rim here, this rim is $10 cheaper, by the way, than this rim, just so you know. So it does take a little bit off as well. I mean, that is pretty good comparison, right? But even this material, I think I prefer it slightly to the Logitech one. You can see this is actually perforated. See, it's actually got holes in it, whereas Logitech one kind of has like some faux perforation. It kind of feels like, this is going to sound really weird, but if you go to swimming pools, this feels like a swimming pool floor. Like when you're walking around the swimming pool at your local gym. whereas this one actually feels kind of a little bit more motorsport grade. So I do give another W there for Thrustmaster with their materials. When it comes to the buttons, by the way, I like the fact that if you get this as part of your PlayStation RS50 bundle, it has the PlayStation face buttons. Great. On Xbox, it has Xbox buttons as well. Fantastic. And the big logo. You're not going to get that on the Thrustmaster. However, I do prefer the rotary dials here on the Thrustmaster to these ones. Also, something you should bear in mind is on Gran Turismo, it seems that before a race, let's say you want to change your fuel setting to 6 or something while you're doing the pre-roll to save a bit of fuel, and then you at the last moment you want to get it back to like 1. It's not like a 1-to-1 sometimes. Sometimes it keeps on spinning. There's something unusual that goes on there. I haven't practiced that too much with the Thrustmaster, but my feeling is it wouldn't be the same because it's very much like a stop here that you're moving like that. So you would kind of move it and move it back rather than spinning it. That's my hunch. But I think I also probably prefer this in the Thrustmaster. In terms of the joystick, I prefer the joystick on the Logitech. I don't like this little one on the Thrustmaster, got to be honest. There's so much kind of like, that's not doing anything, but you wouldn't necessarily know. Whereas this to me feels a bit more logical. It's important to note that I believe this bolt pattern here technically would support another rim. Can you see? I'm doing a very bad job at this, but I think it would support it. However, it's got the joystick and also these things kind of protrude out. I would love it if both of these were more compatible with like third-party rims. However, I have used third-party rims on the Logitech that are specifically designed for it. So I have one from AliExpress and I've got one from ASETEK. Now that's third parties taking the CAD data and doing their own rims for it. It means you can have carbon fiber finishes, you can have suede grips, all that kind of stuff. I just wish it was native with like, you know, like a standard Sparco rim or like a, you know, that Fanatec rim I have. The Thrustmaster bolt pattern is smaller. You can actually visibly see it here. It's a smaller bolt pattern. That means for me, this is very bespoke. So you need to be in this Thrustmaster Evo ecosystem. So that's to me is a little bit of a miss. But yeah, just going on to the form now, and I'm talking mainly about the D-shaped one here and also the track version, because this is the form factor I do most of my racing. I slightly prefer, you can see the thumb area here compared to the Logitech. The Logitech, your thumb's kind of like, it's a little bit more pinched in there, and also the material's harder. Whereas on both this dished one, D-shaped one, I should call it not dished, and also this one here, it's super comfortable. I think these are more comfortable rims than the Logitech one. And it's worth saying my ASETEK carbon fiber plate one doesn't have the most comfortable grips either. So that could be a big win for Thrustmaster, given that these are going to be wheels that you're going to be using for a long time, in my opinion. I've been using this for a long time. And if I was maining Thrustmaster, which I may do in the future, I don't know, I would be using this for a long time as well. And you want to know that it's going to be super comfortable. There is like a faux carbon fiber finish here, which just looks to me like cheap and tacky. Also, I would say these plastic buttons look cheap and tacky. I would say aesthetically for me, the Logitech looks cleaner and probably better. But that's going to be a very, 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 very subjective thing. Something that's not subjective, in my opinion, so can that be a thing? Something that's objective, in my opinion, is a quick release. Miles better on the Logitech. Like, not even close. Miles better on the Logitech. This one here. This Thrustmaster quick release to me inspires very little confidence. One upgrade you can get that I haven't done, but I probably will do, is you can upgrade the Thrustmaster Evo system with analog paddles, clutch paddles. So there's functionality there. You have to buy them separately, but you can do it. Interestingly, on the RS track or the RS hub, there is no option to have clutch paddles, which I find a little bit weird, to be honest, because the original G Pro will have clutch paddles. So I think we've rattled through quite a lot of this, and it's time for me to give an opinion on where we are considering the pricing. And by the way, the pricing will change. There'll be offers and prices may go up, prices may go down, you know, during the life of this video. I would say, to me, if you leave the quick release aside, and I guess you kind of have to deal with the quick release because that's the nature of the ecosystem. If you leave the quick release aside, I can understand how you might pay a little bit more for the Thrustmaster. However, to me, they feel like they should be much more similarly priced than they are. Which is let me rephrase that into a way that's more helpful. I think the Thrustmaster is overpriced compared to the Logitech, or the Logitech is underpriced compared to the Thrustmaster. So that's worth bearing in mind, because if you can get a good deal on your RS50 bundle, with RS50 base and pedals, then it's only $170, $180, sorry, to complete the set with this. And it's definitely passable. Like, this is not a bad rim at all. I do think, though, I slightly prefer the Thrustmaster hub and rim system. I slightly prefer it. And I may still go back and start using this one because this just looks totally my style. Like, totally my style of racing. But I'm interested to know what you think. I appreciate not a lot of people will have both of these. Big thanks to Thrustmaster and Logitech for sending me over review units so I can just make completely honest comparisons and interrogations like this. But if you have either one of these, let me know your thoughts in the comments and let other people know your thoughts in the comments. And if you do want to buy either one of these or any other products in sim racing, go check out my affiliate links in the description. Massively helps me out. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.